Welcome to another episode of What is Hashimoto's with Dr. Martin Rutherford. To find out more on any of our topics, or for information on scheduling a consultation with Dr. Rutherford, please visit us at whatishashimotos.com. And now, here's Dr. Rutherford.
So how many of you are aware that Hashimoto's might be the cause of your constipation? It's stunning to me how many people have no idea that they've had constipation like forever and that their thyroid was the problem. So Hashimoto's, immune attack against your thyroid, heart palpitations, anxiety, panic attacks to different degrees for some of you. There's actually some of you don't have those symptoms yet. That's called silent autoimmunity. But in the end, the core of Hashimoto's is that it's a hypothyroid problem. The thyroid itself gets beat up by the immune system, okay? And depending on the degree of destruction to your thyroid, you will get a variety of the symptoms I just got done talking about. But you will always get a hypothyroid. Your thyroid will always ultimately go into hypofunction. Okay, I'm going to take that back. There is a thin, hyperactive Hashimoto's patient. They are far in the minority, but 90%, 95% of the time, you're going to get hypothyroid. The word hypo pretty much defines it all. The thyroid controls all your energy and it controls your temperature, right? But it controls your energy. It literally, so when it slows down, it slows everything down. I could talk about hypothyroidism, constipation, hypothyroidism of female hormones, and hypothyroidism and poor digestion and stuff like that relative to that. So hypothyroid, I think, is the number 2 cause of constipation that I see in my practice. Number 1 cause of stress, by the way, chronic stress. And chronic stress can cause the hypothyroid, the Hashimoto's, which can both cause constipation. The hypothyroid does it just by slowing the whole digestive chain down. It basically slows down the ability of your stomach's, what are called parietal cells, to make hydrochloric acid. You don't make that, you can't sterilize your food. You can't, hydrochloric acid sterilizes your food before it gets, to your gallbladder, your pancreas, and your intestines. It digests your proteins. It creates a proper acidic balance in there. For those of you who are the alkaline people, we need an acidic bolus to go down into the slightly acidic intestines, so that we have a nice natural environment to kill viruses and bacteria and parasites. Well, that doesn't happen when the thyroid starts slowing down. And then there's a signal that goes from the stomach to the gallbladder. So the stomach tells the gallbladder not to work because it doesn't have enough hydrochloric acid, and the bolus is not acidic, and the bolus is not chopped up. But also, the thyroid directly causes your gallbladder to get slower and to not eject your bile the way it should be. It's called an ejection fraction. And for those of you who've had your gallbladders checked, had them taken out, you know what an ejection fraction is, because that's what they measure. They measure how your gallbladder is pumping, and they look at stones and stuff like that. But this will cause you to create stones, despite what you eat. And then same thing with the pancreas. It slows down the pancreas. So now you're not making enough digestive enzymes, you're not making enough hydrochloric acid, your gallbladder is struggling and they want to take it out. So let's give you omeprazole, antacids for your stomach, and let's take your gallbladder out, and let's give you something for your pancreas. Maybe you go to an alternative practitioner for your pancreas and get pancreatic enzymes, and so let's give you all that. And the person feels better temporarily, but that's only going to last a while, because if the thyroid's still a problem, everything's going to keep slowing down. All of that is going to cause you to not digest your bolus right. All of that is ultimately could lead to anything. It could lead to inflammation on the inside of your stomach. It could lead to leaky gut. It could lead to food sensitivities. It could lead to small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. Eventually, it could lead to you having massive food sensitivities. But it certainly is going to lead to you having constipation, because you're not digesting anything. The inside of your intestines isn't going right. So the waters aren't going to be absorbed, the nutrients aren't going to be broken down right, the acidity in your stomach is going to become alkaline, and all that stuff is going to cause you to have constipation. So, I mean, it's really a very, very common cause of constipation. So what's the solution for that? By the way, what is the solution for that? Is the solution to take antacids for your stomach, or even hydrochloric acid, even apple cider vinegar, which will help temporarily, okay? Or is it to take pancreatic enzymes, or is it to take like bile salts for your gallbladder, or take all that and then come in here and tell me, I already cured all that. I already healed all that. I get that a lot. a little button on that. Because it's kind of like, well, what are you doing here? You're doing here because you haven't really dug in and figured out what the root cause of the problem was. Now, the root cause of the problems in my office is usually going to be Hashimoto's and or chronic stress responses, or both. Well, Hashimoto's has 39 different triggers. That kind of like is a whole different ball game, and maybe figuring out which 1 or 2 or 3 triggers there is have your whole digestive chain start opening up, as opposed to taking apple cider vinegar for the rest of your life, unless you need to. Unless you have like autoimmune gastritis, or you have something wrong with your stomach that can't make hydrochloric acid, or have your gallbladder out. I had my gallbladder out and everything felt better. You need your gallbladder. Let me tell you, you need your gallbladder, and then and your pancreas. So that's Hashimoto's / hypothyroidism and constipation, and it's we'll use things which you already know about. Well, I mean, we'll use smooth tea. We'll use magnesium, 400 or 500 milligrams. We'll use whatever it is there, depending on what the person has. If they have Parkinson's, or if they have some like neurodegeneration, we might use neurotransmitters. But there's a number of things we can use to get people's bowels moving. But that's hopefully temporary. Do that in the beginning, because you want a person's bowels moving. Why do you want your bowels moving? Because it feels better. But because that's the final part of detoxification, is getting all those toxins into the toilet. So we'll do the Dr. Google, if you will. You can look online and see all that, and we'll do that in the beginning, while we then go back and attack the root cause to ultimately be able to establish a proper digestive chain, so that person's bowel movements become normal. And boy, a lot of things change when you do that. Okay. I think that'll do it for today.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of What is Hashimoto's? To find out more on any of our topics, or for information on scheduling a consultation with Dr. Rutherford, please visit us at whatishashimotos.com.